Hi, my name is Grace, and I am the rodent breeder here at Tye-Dyed Iguana, which essentially means I'm in charge of making sure the rodents are making babies for your animals to eat. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I just like give them clean bedding and make sure they have food and make sure that they like cycle properly, so like we don't keep any that are too old for too long. And yeah, just a bunch of odds and ends, like I sift out roaches in the rat room and like, you know, the super worms, make sure they have food and water and all that. It's pretty straightforward, and anything you would do for your pet rat at home, we do here, essentially. So sometimes I do some like little enrichment, so I'll put like tubes in with some of the rodents and stuff just to give them something to do and have fun with. I'm coming up, I think, on my 2 years, but I had taken a break previously and had been here, I want to say like 9 months originally. So like I think if you condense it, like, I don't know, I think I'm probably at like 2.5, somewhere in there, 2.5 to 3, somewhere in there if you add all my time together. A lot. So I have crested geckos, I have a Leachianus gecko, I have white tree frogs, guinea pigs, hamsters, a cat. I have 3 red tail boas. They're technically BCIs, but a lot of people just recognize red tail better. And then I have a Eurymastix. It's a zoo. We'll start with this baby. I brought 2. So his name is Bro. I think it's actually a girl, but we go by Bro. But this is my blue snowflake white tree frog. But we named her Bro, which is short for bromeliad, which is its favorite plant in its enclosure. Bro's one of my favorites at home, so I had to bring her in. Him. Haven't technically gotten sex. I think it's a her. I've never heard a peep out of her. My other ones are named collectively the Chads. So I have 6 white tree frogs. Bro is one of them. The other 5 are collectively known as the Chads, which is a inside joke with me and Jenny. So with our Magic the Gathering cards, so that's funny. And I think it works because they're all kind of sorority type things, so I'm gonna keep it rolling with all the white tree frogs. And then I also brought in my boy Gomez. So he's my BCI, but I just call him red tails because I'm not a snob about like location or anything, and that's just what they're commonly known as. But yeah. He's a good boy. He was my first red tail. So, and now I have 3. So I have another one. His name is Giddes. And then my 3rd one, I just got, her old owner called her Izzy, but I'm going to end up renaming her because she had only had the name a couple months. But hopefully in the future, Gomez and Izzy will make babies. Is like the long-term goal, but I like them, and they're very chill. They're a nice like in-between size snake for if you want a snake that'll get a little bit bigger, but you want something that's still safely manageable by themselves. These guys are it, in my opinion. So my favorite at the shop used to be our rhino iguana. She was a very, very good girl, and our Cuban iguana was pretty great too. But now I'd have to say my favorite is Chewy, who's our Euro. He is quite the little character, and he's very amusing and adorable. So he's a favorite of mine, and actually the reason I wanted a Euro myself. So finally made that dream come true recently, so now I have one of my own. But he's my favorite at the shop. If I have to say in general favorite though, I would probably go with a lychee because I think they're really cool. I have a special place in my heart for New Caledonian species. Cresteds were my first, and I like things that get a little bit bigger. And so yeah, I really like the lychees. They get really big and they have like all the wrinkles, and so they look like they're wearing like PJs and stuff, and I think they're super cool. So I'd say those are probably my favorite shop pet, but then also probably favorite species. But yeah, White's tree frogs is probably my favorite amphibian, and red tails are probably my favorite snake, and then yeah, so I have a little bit of all my favorites. So I have a vast array of hobbies. I don't do them always super often, but I'm on to all sorts of variety of art, from painting to drawing to mixed media kind of thing. I am a big plant lover, so I like keeping house plants. And then like I went this past year for the first time, I went crystal digging. So that's a new hobby of mine that I'm going to be keeping up with, and actually have another trip planned for April. So that's a really fun experience. My hobbies aren't an everyday kind of thing, but when I do them, like I really like to do them. Oh gosh, there's a lot of favorites. I'm gonna be stereotypical for a second. It's like a family, you know, like you're working with your family, it's really great. But no, like in reality though, it really is kind of that. Like we joke around like we're family and like we're good friends, and it's great because like even when we fight and don't get along, at the end of the day, we're always pretty genuinely happy to be around each other, even when we don't want to be around each other. So it's just great. There's a lot of really awesome jokes that happen. And so yeah, it's just always a good time and good memories. One of my favorite shows is The Office. And I don't know, this kind of feels like I'm living that show, but just in like a reptile form. So it just, I love it here. And it's hard to encompass all the reasons down to that. You know, I knew this question was coming, and I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and I was like, well, it's hard to pick one. No, so I have a few things that I really like. So there's a lot of like things that be like favorite memories around here. And some of them are just kind of inside jokes that like aren't really to share, because then they're not inside, and then what's the fun of an inside joke if it's not an inside joke anymore? I really like So Stella Will Fire Me. I know she mentioned that in her interview. She recently got a firing book, so that's pretty funny, but she'll like go around and fire us, and sometimes she'll fire me and I'll be like, oh, so you want to finish cleaning the rodent bins today? And then she'll be like, nah, you're not fired right now, maybe later. So I think those interactions are really funny because like she's just fun to be around. It's like having like a little sister. So like I really like the back and forth of that. That's a pretty fun thing. There was one time we threw Erica's super soft birthday. So I don't know if any of you watch Letterkenny. That's pretty funny. So he came in and the break room was like all pink, and you know, he had a little girl's birthday party for, what was that, his like 35th birthday? I don't know. He's getting old. So my favorite milestone, I have two of them, and they're both very recent. One, I finally produced hairless rats, a litter of hairless rats after like almost 2 years of trying to do so. So that was fun. Because I very half-effortly try to produce, because really, I mean, at the end of the day, feeders, and then I can only keep back so many breeders. So it hasn't been like a major project, but it was like a cool thing. I was like, well, this would be cool to do. But then, so that's a favorite. But then the other favorite I have is we're hitting really close to like our goals on mice breeding that I have. And that's been a very like long project. We got some new mouse racks in this last year and all that, and so that's really cool. And I think those are my two like proudest milestones. hate sports. I hate them with like a massive passion, and I don't get it. But I played basketball for 2 years in school. So I think that's a very funny thing, because I just don't understand what's great about watching a sports game or like all the hype around it. But like I played basketball for 2 years in school, and I find it a very contradicting thing, because I hated sports even back then. It was just fun to play it, but I didn't even understand it really back then, even while I played on a team. So I think that's pretty fun.